What up, people? Coach V, New Breed Boxing. So you lost your first fight. You stepped out there, you put it on the line, you left it on the ring, and you still came up short. How could this happen? I mean, you prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, and it still wasn't enough. You still came up short. How could this happen? Well, I got news for you. You're not the first one, and you definitely won't be the last one. Things happen, man. And boxing is even in a pitched battle, it's already a 50-50 situation. And I'd even go as far as to say about 50% of people lose their first amateur fight. In my experience, coaching over 300 fights so far, seeing thousands of fights, I'd say just as many people win as lose their first fight, to be totally honest with you. There's a lot of contributing factors. Let's just go over a few of them. Number one, if it was a close fight against somebody from a known or connected gym or a famous coach, if that guy finishes the fight on his feet, it's a guarantee he's getting that win. If you don't knock him out, that's it. You're not getting the win. So you didn't even technically lose, because you could go back to looking at Holyfield in the Olympics, Roy Jones, Mayweather, and thousands of other guys that clearly won a fight and got handed the L with a straight face from a crooked referee or judge. You know what I'm saying? So don't take that personal. That wasn't your fault. That's not you. So don't get down on yourself. Also thinking about just the environment. You know, you could have been prepared by the best coach under the best circumstances, and just found yourself overwhelmed by the circumstances. Your first time stepping out. That's why I always like to bring my guys to a couple of fights before I put them out there, to get them used to the environment. Because in the gym, it's more of a controlled environment. You know who you're dealing with usually. And if you're not feeling good one day, you could back out, whatever, which, I don't advise, but unless you really are physically not feeling well, it's different. I always like to see people push themselves, even on bad days, but not, obviously not to get hurt, but just get used to knowing that you're never going to be 100%. You're never going to be perfect. You might be pretty close to it, but there is no such thing as going into a fight with everything perfect, circumstantially, physically. There's always going to be something that's a little off, and that could be the one thing that you can't shake that could just cost you the fight, maybe concentration-wise or whatever. So, and then another part of it is just, bad preparation. Unfortunately, there's some people out there that call themselves boxing coaches that don't have the experience needed to even determine whether somebody's ready to fight or not. Because you got to physically be ready to put out the type of punishment that needs to be put out to your opponent, to withstand the type of punishment that he's going to be dishing out, and to have the experience of sparring against people that are going to expose your weaknesses to make you aware of them so you correct them, so that you're, strategically and tactically in a better position when you go into the fight. If you're over there doing conditional sparring with somebody going easy on you, or you just beating up on your friends, that ain't adequate sparring. Yeah, you sparring, but that's not the kind of sparring you need. You need to be sparring with somebody that is going to bring you out of your comfort zone and bring it as a real fight would be, to really be landing real shots on you at a high volume, not taking it easy on you. And that's just a must. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the preparation. If you're not getting that kind of sparring, then you got no business even trying to fight. If you win under those circumstances, then it's just straight survival instinct. And it's what it is, man. Amateur boxing in particular, because that's when you first start fighting, that's a big test of your will to see if you really belong there. And I've seen plenty of guys lose their first fight. I even seen there was a pro fighter, I think his name was Maurice Harris. I think he lost his first 10 pro fights. He already fought amateur. He was a good fighter. I think it was his first 10 pro fights or something like that. And then he won his next 40. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not advising people. In my opinion, once you start getting into double-digit losses and single-digit wins, and they weren't close, like you were just getting beat up or smoked out or stopped or whatever, that's different. I think at that point, then we would have to say boxing might not be the best choice for you. But if you're losing close fights, politics kicks in, shit like that, whatever, I wouldn't take that personal. That doesn't mean you're any lesser of a fighter or that you don't belong there. It just means that you were dealt a bad hand, and maybe I personally always like training for the knockout. I know a lot of guys are against that, and they say that you shouldn't always go for the knockout. In my opinion, how are you going to get it if you don't go for it? It doesn't come to you like that. People say it comes to you, but if you push the issue, that's the only way you're really going to get it, especially in a 3-round fight. You don't got the luxury of feeling people out. You got to get to it, get busy. Like I always say, come out 2 guns blazing, try to take their head off quick. Be taking calculated risks, not just throwing yourself out there, being smart, working off the jab, but you got to know that you're running on a short time schedule, so you got to try to get busy as quickly as possible. But anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. If you lost your first fight in the amateur boxing circuit, even if you got knocked out in the first round, just know you ain't the first, you ain't the last. It's gonna happen to a lot of other people too. Just go back to the drawing board and use that as motivation. One final thing I will say is, if that doesn't motivate you to get back in the ring, it's all good. You just might not be built for this sport. But if it does, get your ass back in the gym, get that fire in your soul and your spirit, and come back with a vengeance and let them know who you are. That's what I gotta say. But anyway, hope you found this informative. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, share, go hit that notification bell so we know you're out there. Hit me up on coach.v_ on Instagram. Still stacking up my list for these prospects. Till the next time, we out. Out.